y'all, welcome back to the Power Lifting Podcast. I'm your host, Solana Lewis. Today, Christy and I dive into things we have learned in our years of coaching and competing. So basically, some things that we would have probably done differently, or just life lessons that we kind of learned, or adjustments that we made. It's a pretty interesting conversation because it's a lot of reflecting, but it's reflecting on some things that I think even recently I've had to learn as a coach and an athlete. And so it's been fun to reflect and think about how I have changed, changes I've made as a coach, changes we both have made in our training and mindset and nutrition, everything like that. So if it's not your first time here and you came back, you must like us somewhat. Please go ahead and press subscribe wherever you are. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please subscribe. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Helps to get the podcast out to more people. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's episode.
Make sure that.
Hey y'all, we're back. I just got my nails done. I have Christmas nails. I'm super excited. It's a Santa hat. Can you see it?
Mine are boring.
Yours are white. Yeah,
I
use some
know,
red and
they're boring.
green.
I know. Well, oh, you got two different colors too.
Always.
Oh, you're fancy.
So if you're on the YouTube, which we do have the Power and Listen podcast YouTube, y'all, you can see my nails or just go on my
She
Instagram.
has red on her right hand
Yeah.
and Christmas green on her left. And
Yeah.
then like what are they called? The tips?
Santa hats.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah. Oh, also, maybe I'll make a post about this. I'm obsessed with my Aura ring. Obsessed. I got it like a month ago and I'm like in love. Maybe 3 weeks ago.
Can you wear it while you're lifting though?
So yes, you can because they have silicone covers. You can get on Amazon. I got like 10 for like $5. So I just cover it up with silicone. I can wear
And
it.
it doesn't put pressure on your hand or anything?
I can't deadlift, but I wouldn't want to deadlift with any sort of ring on. But
Yeah.
besides that, it's no problem. Like I do pull-ups with it too.
Really?
Dumbbell
Because
bench
I'll have,
press.
if I have a ring on sometimes, like I'll just forget to take one off. And I immediately remember that I have one on.
Well,
oh, let me take this off before my finger swells up and I can't get it off anymore.
well, my fingers don't swell really when I train, but I feel like because I have the silicone over it, like it's different. If I had the metal, it like kind of hurts when I grab stuff, but the silicone like makes it softer. So I
Yeah.
feel some pressure, but it's not painful at all. So
Well, that was a unpaid for marketing for Aura.
right.
So
But I wanted to mention it because I used to have an Apple Watch, but I couldn't wear it when I slept. And I love the details they give me for sleep. It gives me so much detail. And like I can now see like if I did not sleep well, I always feel terrible. I've always been very sensitive to sleep. I feel like most athletes are. But I'm like, if I sleep less than 8 hours, if I'm like 7.5, like I feel it. Like I need 8 full hours. And now I see like when I get 7.5, it's like, you're not ready today. You're not ready. When I'm at 8, it's like, you're doing great. When I'm at 6, it's like, you should go to sleep in the middle of the day. Just stop what you're doing and go to bed. Like, yeah.
4 hours.
Yes. But
what about Whoop?
I looked into it a little bit before getting the Oura ring. I mean, it definitely gives you sleep information. I wanted a ring. Like, I'm sick of bracelets. Because, you go to some nice event and, like, this is gold. So I can wear it to a nice event. I'm not, like, Spy Kids with the freaking Apple Watch or even the Whoop watch. I'm like, this ain't going to match what I want to wear. But now I'm like, no matter what the event, I can wear this. And the silicone ring, so I can change the color. I like it.
Girl, okay.
Yes.
Now you have. So if anyone wants to get me something for Christmas, an Aura ring, Solana, what do you want for Christmas?
I have to think about it, Mike. I have one client I've had for like 6 years, and she always asks me what I want for Christmas because she's so sweet. And she's like, honestly, because she's like close to my mom's age, I'm like, I'll tell you exactly what I want. I don't even feel bad. I'm like, the relationship we have is like, I've been her trainer for 6 years, but like, I'm also like her kid. So I'm like, Mom, I want. Last year she got me my Nespresso with an air frother. Like,
oh my goodness.
So I don't know what I want for Christmas. Honestly, I kind of want to say a new car, which would be a gift I buy myself because I'm sick of my car. But I'll probably get a different car in February because I'm really sick of it.
I don't think any of the listeners are going to be getting you a car.
Oh, oh, for y'all, yo,
I
wait,
mean, I
I
don't think
like
I'm getting an Aura ring either.
you're not. You're not. But the Black Friday sale, apparently you can get the Gen 3 for 250 to 300 instead of being $500.
There
So
you go.
if y'all want to get us gifts, I like coffee. Like you can give me a Starbucks gift card. 'Cause when I travel, I go to Starbucks every single day when I travel out
You
of the
can't go
state.
wrong with Starbucks. I feel like when you don't know what to get someone, you're like, nah, I'll just
Starbucks.
Starbucks. Starbucks gift
Yep.
card, it works.
Yep.
There you
That's
go.
exactly what you can get me.
So we had an interesting conversation about what we wanted this podcast to be today. And we decided that we wanted to talk about our like what was it, our thoughts over the years, things that we would have done differently or like mistakes that we've made
Yeah,
over
I would say more like things we've learned over
things
the
we've
years, but
learned
also
from
that if I
mistakes
had known it earlier, I would have changed it. So yeah.
from mistakes that we've made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of want to start it because I have some ideas from me as a lifter and then me as a coach.
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm gonna start me as a lifter. So I started powerlifting at 18. I'm 28 now, and I was in college, and my life became school and lifting and work. Now that's fine because school took up so much time that I didn't have much time for anything else. Like if I tried to hang out and quote unquote party, which I was never a partier and I was too young anyways, like I would graduate before 21. I never got fake IDs. Like truly I could not party. Like I
Remember
couldn't.
the video, or it was I think I posted something and it was my 20. So I started powerlifting when I was 24.
Hmm.
And so my 21st birthday, 18 to 22, was party years for me, right? And so I posted, do you remember this? It was
I
a
think
photo of
so.
me and being like, my 21 was very different than your 21. It was a picture
Yeah,
of
because that's when I
you
became world champion.
at IPF Worlds, and then there's me. My roommates got me drunk, and they put confetti and stuff in my hair, so it was just a photo of me with sweating because I was dancing, and just this, I don't even know what it is, this like string of, I don't even know what it was, like foam all over my hair, and then yeah, and then I posted like our lives were very different.
Yes, I remember that. So what I was gonna say is I think learning the balance that I want to have has been pivotal for me, but it has changed a lot. And so I don't regret anything I've done. I don't regret times where I've said no to friends for hanging out. I don't regret like being strict in my calories, macros. Like I got to Worlds and I was being decently strict doing those things. But I think this year alone, even like the last few months have been very pivotal in my balance because I'm starting to realize I don't necessarily I don't really think I'm training to try to literally be number one in the sport. I'm obsessed with powerlifting, always will be. Just not saying that I can't get stronger or I'm like, oh, I'm giving up because everyone's starting me. No, it's just I'm starting to see that as I make different friends, I kind of want to try some other stuff, and I'm actually kind of moving stuff around my training to make time for other stuff. Where usually it was like I train, if I had time for that, I'll do it. Now I'm like, no, I'll move the training session over, or I'm asking David next block, like maybe we should try 4 times a week for the first time ever, or I was in a 5 time a weeker. But I want to try 4 times a week because I started dancing, and it's fun, and I've never allowed myself to do anything physical besides walking steps and training for 10 years. I'm not kidding. Like nothing else. Like if my friends let's go for a hike, I said no 99% of the time. That's an exercise, and that's not powerlifting or walking. So I truly said no to everything. And now I'm like, hey, dancing's kind of fun. It's something different. I suck at it. Getting good at something I suck at has kind of been fun. And I
Yeah,
truly am struggling with 5 times a week training plus trying to dance. And I'm like, I can, like, I make my own schedule. I can train a little bit longer sessions and do 4 times a week. I'm not going to not take powerlifting seriously, but that's been cool to just allow myself the space to move stuff around. And like, I don't have to be this strict for the next 10 years. There will come a time where I maybe want to stop powerlifting. And I have to be okay with the fact that like things will change and that's an option. So I have options. That's what I've learned. But that was really mostly this year. Like truly, I learned that this year, y'all. Even with food, I'm so casual right
hmm
now with food. Never. That would never be a few years ago. I couldn't allow myself to not track for a couple months, but I'm like, I'm really enjoying life. And also, I'm still looking at my protein every single meal. I'm still tracking my step count. I'm still tracking my sleep. I'm tracking my water. Like, I'm not tracking everything. But I used to be like, either you track your macros or I'm just off the rails. Like, I'm just off the rails. And before I used to drink, it was like, I'm going to have drinks. I'm going to have dessert. I'm going to have and go out to eat or as much as I can, as if I can't eat tomorrow. So I'm going to stuff myself today. It's just like ridiculous. Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I think my experience is somewhat similar to yours, obviously, like on a different trajectory. But when I started, well, you too, when you first started, you were really, really good. And so it made it easy to want to go to the gym because every time that I would go, it was like I was hitting a PR or I was getting a lot of like people were seeing or noticing me. And of course, that's encouraging, right? And so when I lifted, it kind of powerlifting became my identity, but almost to a fault. And the reason that I say that is because you get into it, right? And you're just in tunnel vision, and that's all you think about is lifting and what you're gonna eat and making sure you're getting your protein and neglecting all these other things because you're a hike, you can't do that, right? It's not powerlifting. Powerlifting is life. And my first experience, my wake up was after like when I got hurt and almost feeling like I lost my identity because my entire life had been so intertwined with powerlifting. I was an athlete, I was a coach. All of my friends, mostly, because that's who you spend a lot of time with, were in the powerlifting community. And I kind of felt like I was being left behind. And it was almost this identity crisis of who is who am I without lifting? And it's unfortunate because I've actually seen people going through it online through having similar experiences, and it messes you up like more than, and this is something that we always talk about pain, and it's painful, or it hurts, right? But the mental frustration is 10 times worse than the actual pain itself. And I feel like I was having a mental breakdown. And it took me a long time to kind of come to terms with I love powerlifting. It will always be a part of me, but it's not my only identity. There's other parts to Kristen, there's other parts to Solana. And I think people need to, who are new and up and coming, who just love the sport and are all in, is to still enjoy other things because I mean, powerlifting will always be there, but you may not always love it. Things change. And I think it's important to have other hobbies, go hiking with friends, eat 2 Fluffernutter sandwiches if you want to, because
Hilarious. That's because Kristen just did that this morning.
I
Just
had
so you know
two.
where that came from.
Oh yeah, so I'll throw it out there. I was telling Solana that I went to the store and I saw this. It was like a Fit butter and it was pumpkin spice flavored. I was like, "Oh, this is cool. Peanut butter with some pumpkin spice flavor. I like." And there's a little bit of extra protein, so in my Fit brain, it's better. It's not, but whatever. And I opened it, and then there was marshmallows on the inside, and my weakness is marshmallows. So
So
as soon
now
as
you're
I
just
opened it, I was like, oh shit. But then I was like, oh fuck yeah. And then I ate two, and now my stomach hurts.
like,
It's
you didn't
so
tell me your
good.
stomach hurt.
I
But
have
what's
to
funny
unbutton my pants. I'm prepping myself for Thanksgiving.
what's funny is I used to always want to try Fit Butter, and I still to say I've never tried them because I've always looked at the back and I'm like, this is like 3 more grams of protein, and I'm getting like more of something, not more fat, but like maybe more carb or just something to make it the flavor better. I'm like, this is dumb. I'll just have
It's
regular, all natural oil on top peanut butter.
well, and that's what I thought it was. I'm like, because I saw that it was pumpkin spice, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's the holiday season. I love pumpkin spice, basic bitch,
You
whatever.
didn't pay no attention. You didn't turn it around. You didn't look at
Let's
the
yeah, I
macros.
didn't realized that there was marshmallows in there. Had I known, I'd be like, Kristen, don't buy this because you're gonna eat the whole thing.
Yeah, in 2 days.
Oh, it's been well, actually, I had it in my cupboard for like a week until I realized that there was marshmallows on the inside. And
And
once
now it'll
I
be
saw
done in two
that,
days. So that's what I said. That's
once
what I
I
said.
saw that, I was like, oh, this isn't gonna last.
Anyway, I'm excited. Let us know next week when you finished it. I want to know how long it took you, okay?
I will.
But
Remind me.
uh, when it comes to you talking about injury, um, so I cannot say. Hmm. Well, okay. I've talked about the only time I've been seriously injured. It was in my prep for Worlds. Definitely thought the world was ending, which is totally fair. Prepping for your biggest meet ever.
You're
Totally
prepping
fair
for worlds.
to feel like the
World
world
is
is ending.
literally
Like, I barely knew what Worlds was when I got invited. I did not know. Actually, I never heard of it because it was my second. It was my no, it was my first nationals. It was my first nationals. Yeah. So I didn't know. Remember, I told you it's my first nationals. I got second place, and then first place aged out because it was junior Worlds, and so they offered it to me, and I almost didn't reply because I was just confused about what it was. And
nah.
then I'm so thankful. I asked my coach and I asked my friends, and my friends who were in Providence, they're like, "It's the world championship. He needs to go." I was like, "Okay." But anywho,
I like
um,
how people train their like lives for this, and Solana just falls on the platform. She's like, "Oh, I didn't need to go to this. What is this? Where are we? We're at
there's
Worlds."
so many stories of this right now. There's truly a lot of stories. People get really good really fast. Like Cranon went to Worlds. I'm like, I think she was seriously powerlifting for a year and a half.
Yeah,
Cranon, she did amazing and got third place. I'm like, you've been
she knew
serious
what
about this for
Worlds
a year and a
was
half.
at least.
Okay, but like she just started training and she was like already pulling 500 before she like hired her coach. Like,
Wasn't she an athlete beforehand? She was like a track girl, right? I think
yeah, but like
track.
not like currently running track. She looks like she worked out for sure, but like you know what I mean, she wasn't like doing
See, the
serious
thing
sports.
with track, I'm pretty sure it was track. And just because I've worked with track athletes in the past, they are you want to talk about athlete? When I was like working with the track team,
Oh, I
I
forgot you did
felt
that.
what's that?
I
Yeah.
forgot you
You
did that.
remember me doing my jumps and stuff as a powerlifter? That was very entertaining. If you want to scroll through my Instagram and
Nobody wants to see you
see
try to
me
throw a
trying to be
disc,
athletic.
Kristen. Nobody wants to see
And
it.
I swear to God, it was you watch them running and they're like little gazelles. And then I was trying to run because I was like, oh my God, that's so great. And then I would see myself on video and I'm like, I look like Sasquatch. I do not look like them when I run. But they are true athletes, but they also lift. And I'm actually surprised at how strong some of those girls actually are. So she may have lifted and maybe not to depth and stuff, but I do feel like it gives you a really strong foundation to just be superhuman. That and gymnastics, I feel like, are the two sports that are like you're an athlete. That's insane.
I agree. Circle back. So what I was gonna say about me being injured,
Oh
which
yeah.
thank you for saying. No, I'm kidding. I appreciate hearing that though. What I was gonna say is it's totally fair to feel like the world's kind of ending, but I think at a certain point you have to start focusing on things that are positive, just to help yourself not go into a full-on spiral of my life is now nothing because of powerlifting. Like I feel like anyone who gets injured and is serious about the sport, yes, you should be sad. You might experience some depression, like seriously, but it should not come. Like I've seen it come to. I remember. I'm thinking of someone right now. I'm not gonna say their name, but someone who's done like not so great at me, like truly not great, and you just saw like their mental health deteriorate in
Yeah.
like 2 days. Like just what they posted. I remember asking my friends, "Do you think they're okay? Do we need to check in on them, like for their life?" You know what I
And you
mean? So it
should
shouldn't get to
be
that.
honest.
You should check in, yes, but it shouldn't get to that point because
No.
everyone needs to have other things going on. You should not, like, if someone asks you who you are, your response should not be, I'm Salon the powerlifter, period. And there's nothing else to say. Like, there should just be something else. So I, I hear you on that. I think it's fair that you were spiraling, but I'm happy you got out of it.
Yeah. And I went about it the wrong way. I mean, you know my story. So I think that it's normal to feel that way. Just go about it the right way is what I would say. Is if you're, if you have to talk to someone, you talk to someone, find other hobbies that you enjoy. Don't drink.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, those three are probably your best tips right there.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. Those are my 3 recommendations for you.
Boom. All right, now you start.
So maybe I can go. So we did
I did balancing life.
athlete. So we, like, from a coaching perspective, when I like first started coaching, I, I've worked with different coaches, right? And you kind of, I think we've talked about this, where you go with like a personality. One of the biggest mistakes that I've seen with coaching is that people get stuck in their ways. And I think people are a little bit more, the coaches now are more open-minded. But I mean, you hear, let's say West Side, for example. Everyone knows what West Side is, but everyone uh kind of talks smack about it, especially in the raw. Like, no one really does West Side in USAPL powerlifting or PA powerlifting. But you have this program, right? And then what happens if it's like you can't update it as a person because it's no longer West Side? And I've seen coaches where they just have this program that they use and will not change their mind. And who knows, the way that we're coaching now as lifters and as a coach, in maybe 3 years from, maybe even next year, we could, look and be like, do you remember when we were doing that? you know and I think continue learning. I look back at my old programs that I've written for people, and I'm like, how did you not die? And just, it's silly things like, I'll just give you an example. When I first started coaching, I was coaching for the Ohio State powerlifting team as they were leading into Worlds, but it was more of a volunteer position, so I wasn't getting paid. So it's not like I worked directly one-on-one with people. It was just like I created a program, a template, if you will, and then they just modified by the weight. But the problem, and we know this now, is, there's a freshman girl who's 18 years old, weighs 100 pounds, doing the same program as a 120-kilo lifter, so 240 pound, 260 or whatever, doing the same program. And at the time, DUP was really big, so it was just squatting 3 days a week. That that kind of program. Well, as a bigger lifter, that's probably not an ideal way to program for them, but that's how I knew to program. That's how my coach at the time was programming. That was what we knew at the time. Like, looking back, I'm like, I'm so glad that I did not break this guy in half, because squatting 3 days a week at like 240, and not lightweight. I mean, these are strong guys. These are world champions. So be open-minded to learning new things and okay with being wrong.
So this is kind of similar to one that I wrote down for coaching.
Yeah.
Mine is, I've learned if something worked and then stops, pivot, but make one change at a time and seriously write out what you think the actual issue is. Because I remember when I was very new, girl, if someone started to plateau, change it all. Change it all. Like, girl, I don't even know. I should go back. I may have deleted like from when I first started coaching. I probably still have it. Like, I remember some people I would just like, oh, the squat's not working. I don't know. Make an SSB squat. That's it. Period. I don't know why I thought to do that. There's no real reason. It's not positioning. I didn't look at the amount of volume they were doing. I didn't look at how close their secondary day is to the primary day. And if I just adjust that because maybe the secondary day is going better. I look at their accessories. Are they actually progressing in the main accessories that actually matter? Like, is their leg press going up, or are they just lazy with it? And maybe if they pushed it, it would help. Like, I would just change the movement and pray to God that it helped. And like maybe sometimes it would help, but I didn't know why. And so now I understand like how I was talking about, like I kind of have a list of things. Like I look at what day is performing well and try to see if I just need to change what days they are maybe squatting, if it's a squat issue. I look at the volume. Can we increase the volume? Or if they're recovering amazing from volume but not getting stronger, I'll probably just increase it because they can handle it. Like just things like that. Look at their accessories closer. How much are they pushing it? Pay more attention to the actual numbers they're hitting. But and I always, again, I change one thing at a time. I will change it and test it for either a block or a couple weeks in the block and then go from there. And I actually now ask for way more information from my athletes. Like if they're really struggling with lift, I'll be like, hey, does your secondary day feel stronger to you? Like I know I see you and you write down stuff, but sometimes my athletes be writing down like the RP is supposed to be. Let's be real, like not what it really was. So I'm like, does it feel stronger to you? Like, tell me, like when you go into this day, do you feel detrained, like weak, or just super fatigued? Like, I have better questions, which really helps me out because I used to just kind of try to figure it out. And if I had an athlete that was very talkative, I'd be so thankful. But if they weren't, I would have pushed them to like really give me information. And I've learned that I just can't, like that doesn't work for me anymore. If you're really serious about your results, I'm going to need to ask you a lot of questions before I make a change. And I did not do that in the past. So it's changed my programming approach so much. And I'm so thankful I've learned these things and that we have all these resources now that are easy to find because truly I guessed my way. I think the first year coaching, I just guessed it. I didn't know what I was doing. I may have read some books. I did read books that have an exercise science degree, but they don't teach you how to freaking actually program to get your one rep max stronger in these lifts. Like,
It's definitely more of a practical application as opposed to theory.
yeah.
Um, I'm glad that you brought that up. Yeah, because I think a lot of times too, it's like you're plateauing, right? So like, what's the go-to? When someone says that to me, the first thing I think of is like
More volume?
yeah, right? Like that's everybody's go-to, right? It's
It's one for that's pretty often used, yeah.
yeah, and it's not necessarily wrong. I'm not saying like it's don't do it. Like it works, right? But that's everyone's go-to. Oh, your bench plateaued. Well, now we need to just add an extra day. And maybe they've plateaued because they're just fatigued and they're not recovering well from the training. And now you want to add more volume, whereas like maybe you need to actually take a step back and reduce volume, or maybe it's just that they've been doing the same volume but their stress is different, right? They're moving, you just broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend and you're freaking sad, right? Like that's going to have an impact. And so oh well, let's just add more sets, add more reps, add another day. It's just, I think that's why questions are important, because as a new coach, oh, that's usually the first, the go-to. Oh, we'll just add more, just more. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
questions are important, and I think especially communication. And I almost, as coaches, it's like the coach has to be a good communicator, and I think that's 100% important. But at the same time, your athlete needs to communicate to you, and you can't expect your coach to be your babysitter. And I'm like, I'm not going to, like, I'll reach out, hey, how's it going? But I'm not going to be like, hey, you didn't send your check in and you're not doing this. Like, hey, this is on you, right? Like, I got other shit that I'm doing. I'm busy. I don't have time to sit here and text you and ask you to give me the information that I need. So that's on them. And that's kind of where I've gotten to the point sometimes. And maybe, sometimes they're like, oh, well, you know, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, well, you don't tell me. I need to know. So that's another thing is to communication is important on both sides.
Yes. I'm actually going to use a client as an example. I don't even know if my client knows I have a podcast, to be honest. 'Cause I got this client. You know how when you become a USAPL certified coach, like they put you on a list and they tell you like the list of where you live? He hit me up from there and was like, "Oh, I see you're from New Jersey and you're on a coach's list. Will you coach me?" So I was like,
Yeah.
"Cool. Yes." That worked out great. I'm in shock that this list actually did something for me. But anywho, to make a long story short, the first time we worked together, it first of all, it lasted like I have a 3-month minimum, which I tell people before they even pay me and everything. He got like 3 weeks in, was barely talking to me. I'm like, I'm basically chasing him. I'm chasing him. And then eventually he just paid me for the additional months and like didn't really train. So circles back 3 months ago and hits me up and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'll work with you again if you promise me communication will be better. You actually fill out your check-ins, you talk to me every day, you train, you give me feedback on your session because he has some technique issues, and like I would tell him what to adjust, and I would see him go again. I'm like, did you even listen to what I said? Like I actually said, like move your foot here. Like literally, you can't even not understand that. You just didn't do it. You know what I mean? Like so,
Yeah.
he. So now we're 3 months in, and like the amount of communication he's giving me, this is a whole new person, and his techniques changed in every single lift. He just hit a PR bench press yesterday. I'm like, we would have never gotten this far if I didn't make it clear to you that I won't even work with you if you don't communicate with
Yeah.
me. And I
And I
used to
think
be too scared to ask for that amount of communication because when you first start coaching, sometimes you're just like, I want clients and I need money and I want to do this. And now I'm like, no, I'll literally say no to you if I know it won't go well.
you're a coach, not a babysitter. I can't tell you how many times I've like, especially in the beginning, um, reaching out to people for videos and stuff. And I've gotten away. I'm like, if you don't send me videos of your training for the week, like that's on you. You know, you're basically like, and I have, to be honest, I'll reach out sometimes because at some point I'm like, bro, you haven't like sent me a thing in like 2 weeks. I don't know what's going on. And they fill out the lifting and stuff, so I'll have that.
Hmm.
But just like, I want to know how this looked. Like you say you put this weight on there, but if I'm gonna, like the next week, I'm gonna recommend that you add load, but that was an RPE 10, like there needs to be some communication. And so I think having a good relationship with your coach means that yes, your coach communicates with you, but you also communicate with your coach. Because if you're not like, a coach isn't a magician, they don't know, we're just making guesses. So you want as much information as you can to give the best educated guess that you can give.
I like it.
Yeah. So one
Okay.
more athlete, your turn.
Okay. So this is both. It's coach and athlete. I can easily make an athlete. I'm even like thinking how I'm gonna say it, but I think truly understand what being realistic means. So, so I'll even start by saying I love when people have huge goals. So I guess I'm going coach right now. I'll go to athlete. I love when people come to me with humongous goals. I've had people come to me saying like I want to be a national champion and they haven't even competed yet. I'm like, I love this. I'm not going to be like, hey, you haven't competed yet. Worry about your first. Like, no, no, no. I'm like, I love this goal. Let's get started. Let's be realistic about like numbers block to block and making sure that like we are progressing. But sometimes people are not putting in enough work be to even be able to say out loud that's their goal.
Yeah.
I've had some athletes who have struggled heavily with even getting in their training consistently, missing multiple days throughout the training block. Their sleep just not being good, like literally going to bed at 1 and getting up at 4 because they had to get up for work at 4 o'clock. I'm like, well, then why did you go to bed at 1? Like when I ask questions about nutrition, it's like, I mean, I'm kind of tracking, but not really. And when you don't track, you undereat. Like I've had multiple athletes. I'm not even saying I currently have them right now, but I've had multiple athletes like that. But they came to me with a big goal of maybe national champion, maybe I want to get to worlds one day, maybe I want to be the best in my region, whatever. And I'm like, but you are not doing the things it takes. And it's actually okay to be a powerlifter and prioritize going out with friends more if you want to, eating out with friends more if you want to, but just be realistic and don't come to me and say like you have the goal of being the best somehow and you're not putting the work in. Because I can tell you like from where I have gotten, it's come from me being very on top of my factors, and my athletes who are successful and make a lot of strength gains, they're on top of their factors.
There was a book that I think I forget the name of the book, but it reminds me of that book because it was basically, and this probably goes against like what I said in the first part of this podcast about, having other hobbies. But when it comes to like, say you have an athlete and they're like, oh, well, I want to be a world championship like someday. You're like, really? You slept 4 hours, you went to bed at 1 and woke up at 4, and you think you're going to be a world champion?
It's not because you have a kid crying in the background. You literally went out, got drunk.
And that's great, but that you have other hobbies. But I will say that if your goal is to be at the top, you want to go to worlds, you have to make essentially powerlifting your life. You have to make sacrifices, especially now with how competitive it's gotten, where you can't just come in and just happen to be strong because you're just the strongest one there. It's like you have to train, you have to dedicate and make sacrifices. And so the book, I think it's called Unfuck Yourself. And but basically what it was saying is that people want to lose weight, or there's these things that they want to do. They want to make it to the top of the corporate ladder. Well, in order to do that, it's like you have to make these sacrifices to get there. And most people aren't willing to make that sacrifice. So you want to be this elite power lifter, but to get there, you have to forego hanging out with friends and family because you have to train, or you can't do something because you have a meet coming up and you're cutting weight and you can't go out, or you have to make these sacrifices, and most people will not make them. So
And it's, to me, it's taking time. It's taking time for me to get to a point where I was like, you know what, Solana, you're gonna have athletes who don't give it everything you do, and it's okay as long as it is realistic. Because I think I started coaching after I won Worlds. You know what I mean? Like I kind of came into it like everyone should be this dedicated. Who wouldn't be this dedicated? So it took time for me to kind of be like, okay, there people are different people. As long as I understand, as long as we have a conversation about the goal is a realistic goal, and we are working together, and you're able to communicate with me, like that is fine. I as a coach have to accept that like not every athlete that comes to me will be able to make this insane amount of progress in a shorter amount of time, because you're not going to make as much progress if you're not quite as committed to doing the everything I talked about. So that's been interesting. And then flip it around as an athlete, um, now I'll be honest, like as someone who works full time for themselves, like I do get to make my own schedule. I do get to be on top of myself. Like I told you, my ring, I'm gonna get that 8 hours of sleep. It better say I'm well rested, or I'm going back to bed. Like I'm going back to bed. I don't care if I go to bed 7 p.m. or 12. I'm getting 8 hours of sleep. All right. So
I can't wait till you message Dave one day and you're like, I only slept for 6 hours and 47 minutes. I can't work out yet. I have to sleep for another hour.
he's gonna say, I don't care. Just text me the videos when you're done. That'll be his actual response to me.
Really?
Oh my god. But dang, I forgot what I was saying. My ring, 8 hours of sleep. Oh yeah. Oh, being realistic as an athlete.
Yeah.
Right now, so is it realistic that I could train 5 times a week? I might still keep the 5. I'm not sure. But I also am just okay with making space for other things. And so I know that my mental focus will be slightly less in powerlifting. And I've accepted that. Does not mean I won't still progress, but I do want to care a little bit less. And I think it's because I've been so stuck on the way certain lifts are progressing. Y'all know the lifts I'm talking about, but the way certain lifts are progressing. And I'm like, I kind of want my brain to have the ability to try something else, but also still be very committed to the training when I am in the gym. So
Yeah, I think that's important. And you can always, as you get closer to a meet prep and you want to move up to 5 days again, and dance becomes the back burner for a little while, that's okay.
I mean,
And
let's first of all, it's gonna stay back burner. It's never gonna be to front. All right. I
well,
didn't say I'm giving up on powerlifting. It's once a week right now.
her new goal is to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Girl, I just want to see if I can eventually get to dancing with heels on. Like, I'll be happy with
Oh,
that.
what kind of dancing is it?
I'm kind of trying a few different things. I'm stereotypical. I did take some pole classes. Okay, I did.
That
Um,
stuff is hard.
oh my God, it's actually so
I,
fun.
I
It's
know
so fun.
it's not easy. Like the girls that do it, and I mean, they like respect because it is not easy. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think what they can do maybe is cool. Maybe like, with a little bit more clothes and stuff, but
I mean, you can choose. Honestly, though, I'm learning with the pool, like you can't have anything that's gonna like clothing wise is really gonna touch the pole. So
that's also
shorts
true.
do have to be short. You can't.
But you know what?
You
You
can wear
work
a
for it,
tank
whatever,
top.
girl. Like, do you, You could do that, whatever. Maybe that's their passion.
What's cool is so far the classes I'm taking, or like the instructor I have for my classes, is not even hypersexual. We're
No,
truly
it's
learning tricks on the pole. And then there's
yeah.
other classes you can take where you compare it with floor dancing. And then there's classes where you combine that and then you put music to it. So our class has no music
Oh, really?
at all. Like,
So
so
it's
there's
probably
very
more of like a
different stuff.
workout.
It's truly like you're learning tricks
Yeah.
on a pole.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
really cool.
cool.
But you can turn it into like a sensual dance if you go to the other class. That's at a different time. So I like the options, and I'm trying to learn actual tricks on a pole. I'm having so much fun.
Will you post about it?
Probably never.
Oh my God, please. You have to
You
post
know
about
why I won't post? I'm surprised I've gotten to a point where I can talk about this on a podcast. The oof. I wonder who will think about this.
it. I posted me
I like to
running,
portray
looking like Sasquatch. Okay.
that's running. I like to portray a very specific image on
That's fair.
Instagram, and it's not in any way saying that it's fake at all because it's really my life. But like my Instagram is like powerlifting, coaching, and then every once in a while you see my cats, and then maybe once in a blue moon you see my nephew because I was posting because he's cute. And that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And like anything, like if like I had a relationship for 3 years where we talked about getting engaged and no one saw him on my Instagram, like no one.
When was this?
This is before 2020. So it wasn't recent.
Okay, because
But
like,
like
wait, when were you
I
engaged?
didn't really didn't post his man. And I mean like it's personal to me. So I'm like my dancing, like I don't know where I'll take it, but that's pretty personal. Dating, I'm like, now if we engaged, I'll probably post my hand in his hand. But like I'm that private. I'm
I
like,
have
you gotta
learned
see me
to
in person. I don't even
stop
post bikini
posting.
pictures really. And there's nothing wrong
Yeah.
being bikini, but I'm just like, I just don't want to deal with it.
Honestly, I just want to enjoy when I'm out and not feel like I have to post something like, oh my God, I'm doing this something so cool. Let me show everyone. It's not that fun, but I'm going to pretend that I'm having the time of my life. So I'm
Yep.
just take a photo of it. I'm like, I'm at the beach. Like, I just want to chill, like, and sleep and read.
Yep.
Oh, but that also I think comes with age because I don't think it was always like that when I was like, especially starting powerlifting. I think I documented like my entire day. Ooh, look at my breakfast. Going to get my
I
hair
actually
cut.
I
Woo.
do want to do a what I eat in a day video now because like people now know that I don't care as much right now. I'll be like, this is what I've been eating. Don't
You
ask me the
should do like a
macros.
before and after, like what you were eating when you were tracking, and then what you eat now on a daily basis, where you're kind of, yeah, you're not tracking, but you're also not gaining weight either significantly. So you're still
I'm
eating
about to
relatively
say
well.
I'm
Yeah.
gaining weight. It's just not significantly.
I said significant. There's a difference. So fair.
But
Um,
yeah.
so I think we had to talk about my story of me getting banned from Hinge.
Yay! Story time with Kris D. Let's do it.
I finally have a story. So I'm banned from Hinge. Um, so you know how men, like women are not crazy, men make women crazy, or they do crazy things, right?
Sure.
So I was in a relationship. Basically, I thought I was in a relationship. I think he was in a relationship when it was convenient. This was a Edison, and
Did you try to do your own like bleep of the name? Oh my god.
anyway, so let me okay.
Just give him a fake name.
Bob
Okay.
Bob Smith. I don't know.
That's so lame. Go ahead, Bob Smith. Go ahead.
It's the first thing that came to my mind. Anyway, so Bob was really mean to me. Well, not mean, but just I was in a relationship with him and he was in a relationship with whoever he wanted to be with.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how like women sense that, right? Or like I think people in general, when like someone's not honest with you, it's like your gut is telling you everything in your body is being like, he's lying. They're like, this isn't, you need to run away far, fast, but your brain is like, no, or your heart, love me. So you stay like an idiot and then you turn into a psycho. So I decided that I was going to make a fake profile, and I didn't bother to like make a fake profile and like give a name and like put a fake person on. Like I didn't even bother with any of that. I think I just put like ABCD and then like puts a picture of a dog on like as my profile picture, just so I could see like, is he on there? And I don't know, a couple days go by and like I go to log in and it's like my account has been reported and it's a spam account. And so now you're banned. And they don't just like ban your ID, they ban your phone number.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I actually forgot about this until like a couple years ago when I go to, I was like out of a relationship, whatever, and I'm like wanting to see what's out there. And I go to log in and they're like, this account is banned. I was like,
Yep.
oh. And it's you're
Yep.
banned for life too. You don't get
Mm-hmm.
like a 6-month ban. It's like you get no warning. You're just
Yep.
nope, you're done. So yeah, that's my story.
Oh, well, you know, there's other sites, but I'm not gonna lie. I love Hinge. I love Hinge.
Must be nice. I don't know what it looks like anymore.
I love it so much. I'm team Hinge. People who don't like online dating, get away from me. I don't care. Like, I think it's fun to be on the site. I think it's fun to have a conversation with different people. Like, so you're gonna have to try a Tinder or something. I hated Bumble, so I wouldn't say Bumble.
Oh
Tinder
God,
kind
I
of
think I
sucks
did
too.
Tinder in
Tinder
2015
kind of
or
sucks.
something. I would never do Tinder anymore.
Maybe Match.com. I feel like that one's
I mean,
serious.
I think I could just be old school and go out and meet people in person.
Oh my
You
god,
know,
so hard. As someone who's doing more networking events than I've ever done in my life, I truly not one human being haven't met out there at these events where I'm like, hey, maybe they're kind of, maybe we could like hang out. No, I don't
Mhm.
know.
Well, let me know how hinges. Take photos for me so I know what it looks like. I don't.
Okay, are you a fan of dating powerlifters?
I'm not opposed. I mean, I'm indifferent, I guess. I don't like if they're lifters and we click, great, because we have something in common, but it's not like a criteria that you have to be. I would say you have to be fit, and it doesn't have to be powerlifting. Like I just want someone who goes to the gym and at least like makes it an attempt to be healthy and works out. I don't care. But I will say that I think with the powerlifting community, like people know more. So it's not, you want to keep your life personal. And if you're dating someone in a community who's also like relatively known, um, then your relationship might be a little bit more out there. But if I mean that doesn't make it bad. Just that's people are gonna know. Like, does that bother you? If it does, then maybe you don't want to date another lifter.
I'm talking about you.
Well,
Does it
I'm
bother
I'm indifferent.
you?
I'm indifferent. I like lifter. I like power lifters. Sure.
Okay, I
I would
hate
date a
it.
power
I
lifter.
hate it. I'm like politics too much in my life. Get the hell away from me. If you are in the gym, squat, bench, and deadlifting with kilo plates, don't ask me out. Like truly, I'm there. Like I don't want to go to the same gym as you. I don't want to be someone who like go to gyms nearby in the area when I want to have fun and visit a new gym. I want to see you at any events that are national or international. I don't want to see you if I'm commentating at me and traveling to do that. I don't want to see you. I want you out of that
You just
apartment lift.
walked over and just loaded your plates for you and walked away.
A random person?
No,
Or
a
this
hot lifter that just walks over, says nothing to you,
I
like
know.
doesn't
So
hit on you,
first
just
of
is
all,
like,
let's be for real.
let me put
We
this
all
plate
know a
for
lot of
you.
attractive lifters.
Oh yeah.
I know plenty of hot lifters. You stay hot over there. You can high five.
What if they unload
No,
your rack for you?
that is so. I've been
I'd be like,
unloading
oh
my
my
rack for
God,
10 years.
you're unloading the bar. Oh, thank you.
That's really sad. That's what you're looking for. I've been doing that for 10 years. Get away from me. If you probably if I want to date you, period. Like I'm done. Like I don't even want like I've never even done it, but I even kinda talked ish to someone a little bit that was a powerlifter where we were at the same gym often enough. And then like they pissed me off. And this is way before like we did not get to a point of like boyfriend, girlfriend at all. But I was like, see, what if I felt like I couldn't come to the gym anymore? I would see you. I can't. I can't
Yeah.
do it. I feel like it's crapping where you eat. I just can't do it.
The one person that I went crazy with was in the powerlifting community. I will never do that again.
See, it's
Not
tough. It's like
okay, well, first of all, I'm not gonna try to like put my relationship out there unless I know it's serious. I think also I was like 20s, 28 or something, like when all this happened. So I was also, I was younger.
I'm 28 now. I'm not doing it.
I know, but I'm a late bloomer, okay? It just took me a while, okay? So
Okay.
I mean,
And so basically,
you saw what I was doing when I was 21. It was very different than what you were doing, right? It took me a little longer to get there. So yeah, I would just say that if I am dating a lifter, it's like I just have to like we're not just hanging out, we're like or whatever, like I'm in a relationship and you're in relationships. Like I don't want that.
okay.
Both ways.
Well, my point is if you a lifter, don't ask me out. All right. Thank y'all so much for listening to that. We have like 10% or 15% men listen to the podcast, but if you're one of the 10 to 15% and you were thinking about asking me out, just don't do it. Yeah, but Kristen's single, so ask her out. All right. So thank y'all for coming. We'll catch you next time. Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much or eat as much as you want.
Either
Those are
one.
your two options.
Yeah, yeah.
Enjoy.
Enjoy it. All right, y'all. Catch you next time.
And the power in lifting.
Eight.